Richard, that was his name. Okay, low-key, I actually really did love Samantha and Richard together as well. And I know he was a prick, and she just like couldn't get over it when he cheated. Like, she just couldn't move past it, which is like totally understandable. Even though it did seem like he did that, and he could have that could have been his one thing, and he could have actually gone back to her and remained loyal, potentially. But I just feel like their lifestyles and stuff, they were so, like, she was the woman that, if there was ever going to be a woman that was going to team Richard, who Richard was, of course, the businessman that originally Samantha met through trying to become his publicist or do some sort of event or something for him. And he kind of judged her prematurely and was like, oh, you slept with somebody that I know and I don't want that drama, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, had such an iconic scene where it was like, if I was a man and you knew I had hooked up with so-and-so, you would have shaken my hand, signed me this business and bought me a scotch, but because I'm a woman, you blah, 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 blah. Like, for a man that's so successful business-wise, like, you're so short-sighted, and like, that's a shame on you, and stormed out. And it was just like, so good, like, so good. But of course, and that scene was, I think, even better because they still humanized Samantha and like made her a woman, which women are, not emotional, but in touch with our emotions, which honestly men are really the like craziest choice she made was inviting Aiden out, or I'm sorry, inviting Big out to Aiden's country house, remaining friends, close friends with Big after she cheated on Aiden with him, and then got back with Aiden, and like, they're so like inappropriate. Like, I can't see a world where any man would be okay with this. Like, it would be okay if they were to remain civil, right? I think that's normal. But the fact that she like left Aiden's country house at one point to go have dinner with Big in the city and like act as though they didn't have any history and they were just good friends is just like preposterous. I think, of course, the kind of thing with that is that it was like foreshadowing that she wasn't really happy with Aiden and that she did ultimately want to be with Big. Guys, the wind is whipping out there. Oh my god. It was like warm today. And then all of a sudden it got like freezing, and I think it's gonna be like really cold tomorrow. We're like right before spring where it's like you start to get a little piece of that warmth and sunshine, and then all of a sudden it's like 15 degrees again. But yeah, when she invited Big after he had his breakup out to Aiden's country house, like, I couldn't even believe Aiden was a fucking saint, the peak of emotional maturity and like security, honestly, versus like being insecure, for allowing her to do that and then like becoming friendly with the guy. Aiden, before, like, when they first started, like when they first broke up or whatever, they first dated, he had the longer hair and whatever. But when they got back together, the writers, oh my god, they knew what they were doing with this when they had him lose a little bit of weight and then cut his hair. And she met him, like, again, or saw him again outside of the restaurant, and he was like smoking the cigar, and she's like, oh my god, he like looks so good. It's like, girl, maybe you should have like taken a moment and not like gotten back with him, right? If you knew you were just gonna go back to Big. But like, yeah, Carrie bringing Big out to the country house was diabolical. Carrie also like coming to Big's apartment with like the McDonald's and in the little hat, what's it called? Oh my god, why do I want to say toupee? Is it beret? Like in that little hat, and being like le Big Mac, or le filet of fish, like le French fry, like cringe. The second-hand embarrassment is so real on that. I think that Aiden was like a really good guy, and he was a little desperate, like with certain things he shouldn't have like allowed them. And I think if he would have actually grown a pair a little bit and like put his foot down more with her, that she actually would have liked him more and like wanted to stay with him, because he is a little bit of a doormat. And then when he was like really like all of a sudden became insecure, like when they first were together, and he like, or no, I guess when they're the second time, like towards the end when they like were engaged, and she was like not planning the wedding, and she was wearing the ring around her like neck instead of on her finger. Like he needed to like read the signs there, unfortunately, and he just couldn't. But yeah, Aiden was like the more like husband material choice for sure, and Big was not. I think the other crazy thing that Carrie did was so awful. I think him and Berger were like the worst. Her girlfriends were not feeling him because he was just like dry and mean, and just like the vibes were not her vibes. And she was in denial. I think she was so like done with Big and Aiden and everything at that point. She was just ready to like take the leap and move to Paris with this dude, but like moving to another city for a guy is even like a lot, right? Let alone moving states, let alone moving countries, okay? Where, like, did she really think she was gonna go to Paris and, Miranda said it best, eat croissant all day? Like, Miranda called it new best, and I think it was a total mistake and mismatch from the beginning of Carrie being with Alexander Petrovsky. I also think, I don't know, kind of quick fire things. Carrie, her whole lifestyle was just a little ridiculous and unbelievable. Like, she's writing this column for, you know, her, whatever, what magazine, I don't even, or what newspaper, I don't even know. But, like, the way that you would not be able to afford, like, that type of apartment, like, on what she was doing, let alone all of her designer shoes and clothes and bags and stuff. I think that Charlotte, like, not offering Carrie the money for her apartment, like, I go back and forth and I understand both sides of that, but I think Charlotte was like very kind of conservative and old school, and sometimes it made sense for her, but sometimes it just felt cold, like, you know, saying like friends should not talk about money. It's like, if you are so wealthy that, yeah, you have like a whole penthouse, you don't even work, you volunteer or whatever, and your friend like needs like a little loan or a little help or whatever, like, I don't know, but like offering that help, I think, is like the obvious thing to do. So I understand her not wanting to like get involved and stuff, but I also understand Carrie being pissed off about it. I also think that when people, like, when it's like comes up like, who's the Carrie, who's the Miranda, who's the Samantha, and who's the Charlotte, like, when you're trying to figure out like which character are you or whatever, I feel like everyone's like, oh, I'm Samantha, oh, I'm this person, oh, I'm this person, but really, I think that one of the reasons dude's married to a 25-year-old woman, and you're like going over his apartment to see it. Like, that should have never gotten to the level that it got to. That affair with Big, it was embarrassing for Carrie to even like be a part of that. And I think it's like good that Natasha did not forgive her, because she's like Carrie just was trying to like apologize to make herself feel better because it was weighing on her, and Natasha's like, I'm not gonna let you offload your guilt onto me. Like, and Carrie just had to like kind of man up and accept the consequences of her actions. Like, I know you guys are together now, you guys, you know, ended up being each other's husband and wife, but at the end of the day, like, you know, I mean, Natasha also, maybe as she got older, should have realized, like, maybe getting married to this 40-year-old bachelor man was not the smartest choice to do at 25. But, you know, doesn't make what Carrie did okay. So yeah, those are my main hot takes. I love, and just like that, season 1, I think, was a little trying to shove like wokeness